Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is going to be a video on Blight Dragon Elite Challenge mode. I managed to get a kill on this boss recently. And so this is going to be a video pretty much on, I guess, sort of guide you through the fight on challenge mode. My thought process on the fight, what I'm thinking of, what I'm doing, cooldown usage, which is very important in this fight. And so yeah, first off, I'm going to show you the stats and the gear. I'm at 51.6%. Currently not buffed or anything, so yeah, I'm at 51.6%. 21% cooldown, 6.3% Omni. And then I have my resonance at 100.3%. As you guys know, well, I mean, yeah, let me keep this pressed. So everything is Furious Attack, as you can see, across the board. This character is very strong. Furious Attack everywhere. And then a lot of these Furious Attacks, I think out of the 9 gear pieces that we have right now, I think I have either 6 or 7 Furious Attacks that are 110 gear level, right? So this is a very strong character. 100%, 100.3% resonance. That's really good. Let's show the Inscribe stone tree real quick. As you guys know, I have an upper left and an upper right crush. Really good. This intertwined fades only has upper left, but it gets the job done for what I want. Don't really care too much about this Omni. Although if I did have an upper right there, this would be 6.4, which would increase my damage. I would reach the break point. But I think it's only Swift Strike damage, so I don't really care about min-maxing that too much. Overload with upper left and upper right. It has a lower left as well, so really good. But I really only care about the upper left and upper right. This Warlike Surge has lower right and upper central. I wish it had upper right. That way we could also get a little bit of this Omni action over here. And then this is the big addition. Before, I did not have a high energy potion that had upper left and lower right. Now I do. That was my Discord. That was not yours, so don't even worry about that. Lower right and upper left, so 100% on this node, 100% on this node, really good. I get the cooldown from over here, get the cooldown as well from over here, so this is really good. All of you Duel Swordsman players, a lot of you, well, some of you like cooldown, some of you like Omni. I'm not here to tell you guys how to do your builds. The only thing I really think every swordsman should have is all of these nodes, all of these resonance nodes. Please do 3 out of 3 on each and every one of them, and then try to boost these 2 nodes. Everything else, if you guys are Omni enjoyers, if you guys are cooldown enjoyers, if you guys want to do your level 3 on your level on your first core node, that's fine. If you guys want to do middle node and then maybe 1 level over here, that's fine as well. If you guys don't like purple spec and you guys want to go heavy on the dex or the focus, all of that is fine. The only one that I really think you 100% need to do is 3 out of 3 in every resonance node. I really think everybody should have that. So please do yourself a favor and get 3 points on all of these nodes. You guys will do a lot of damage. I'm running Warlike Surge. I ran Warlike Surge because I did not see too many people running Tribal Load. Otherwise, I would probably run Tribal Load because I do have one that's ready to be equipped. See that right there? This one is ready to be equipped, and it well, actually, it's even better because it gives me the Omni. But man, I probably should have run this node, this emblem then. But yeah, let me throw on that Warlike Surge for now because this is what I ran. Now, let's look at the talents, because here there are some changes. So the previous video, you guys saw this exact same setup, right? I changed one thing for Dragon, and that one thing was I put 3 points in Best Apprentice. Where did I take that point from? Simple. I went over here on Evade, I did 1 point, and then I did this, right? The reason why I did this is because I noticed that the way the group that I was doing the fight with was fighting the dragon, I needed that 3rd point because I was using Frenzy Throw a second time without popping Inscribe Stone and Thirst Battle, because you can't pop in Inscribe Stone and Thirst Battle on cooldown in this fight, or else you won't have it up for the damage amp phase. So you do every button on your on pull, then you do Frenzy Throw alone, and then you do Frenzy Throw alone again. That Frenzy Throw that I was using, if I had 2 points, it meant that sometimes I would not have my Frenzy Throw back up for damage amp, and so I would lose a Frenzy Throw window, which was obviously really bad. So I decided to take 1 point off of evade, drop it over here, and that solved my issue. Okay, but normally you're gonna see me do 2 points here, 2 points here, and then everything else is the same. This is my typical setup. A lot of people have asked me if I'm liking this current setup, because I said that I was going to test it, and I am absolutely loving it, because before I would only have 1 point over here, and this is really good for us, especially during burst window, because Frenzy Throw is going to increase our furious attack damage, right? I took those two. Before I had 1 out of 3. I took 1 point away from here, 1 point away from here, dropped those 2 points here, and I feel great. Why? Because I am not in need of assault charges in any fight that I fight with 2 out of 3 points. So the only reason I would be taking the 3rd point here is if I really cared about 5% more damage on assault, and I do not care at all about the damage that my assault brings to the table. The only reason why I use assault is because it gets me to move throughout the roulette and it procs my weakness. But that's really all the assault is there to do. I don't care about the damage that assault brings. I just care about its utility and how smooth it makes the rotation. And then Gift of the Opportunity, the reason why I dropped 1 point is because I noticed that the 3rd point was not giving me enough cooldown on Furious Attack that it made me cast at least 1 more Furious Attack per fight. And because it wasn't doing that, then it's a point that is not doing anything for me. So I would rather put it over here, right? Because this is going to do a lot for me. So yeah, that's the reasoning behind these two. The people that have asked me, am I liking it? I am not liking it. I am loving it. This is, for now, this is what I'm going to stay with. Until they change something about our spec, right? The other talents are pretty much the same. You want your Swift Strike to move 2 slots instead of 1. You want 2 charges on Swift Strike because that means that you can manage your roulette better. Increased damage on Furious Attack is a no-brainer. The Execution talent is a no-brainer. This one, depending on the fight, I will take 1 point off and put it on Best Apprentice, as I just explained a little earlier. You need these 3 points. I think some people do not run 3 here. I like running 3. Absolutely. Sustained Seal, even though I have a love and hate relationship with this talent, this is mandatory, it's not debatable. You want your Frenzy Throw to last 2 more seconds, and these 2 are automatic includes, because this is going to make sure that your next ability crits, and then this one is going to increase your damage and your haste during your Thirst Battle, so this is really good. Okay, now I am, wait, what? Oh, I thought this was 6.4. You learn something new every day. I thought this was 6.4 because in Cunning it's 6.4 if I'm not mistaken. But for Duel it's only 6%, so I really am enjoying this. Okay. Or is it always 6%? I don't even know anymore, bro. I've never ran Omni, so okay. But right now, that means that I am a 5-1-2, which means I probably should pay more attention to that. I did not know that. Anyways, that's the setup. Let's get into the video. So, let's explain the mechanics first. I don't want to explain them while I'm talking over the video because I want to use the video to sort of tell you what my thought process is. There are only 2, well, there are 2 new mechanics in challenge mode. The first one is you're going to get chained to a partner. You can't control the partner that you get chained to. All you have to do is when you pull the boss, you stay close to that person until the boss puts chains around everybody. Or not around everybody, but he's going to link everybody to a person. and you have to play the fight as close as possible to that other person. My partner in this fight is the Bard, so that makes it tricky for me and for the Bard as well, because I'm a melee player and the Bard is a ranged player. So I have to try to stay as close as possible to the Bard while also being able to melee the boss. And the Bard has it even harder because I will passively force him to me by the movement that a melee DPS has to go through. So the job of the Bard player here is not easy, obviously. But yeah, we did a good job and we managed to down the boss. So yeah, the second mechanic is there will be some yellow orbs dropping from the sky. You will see some yellow circles on the floor. You want to step on those circles so you can get a buff that will allow you to DPS the dragon when the damage amp phase comes. Everybody needs to get that buff, so all 10 players need to have it, or else you don't get into damage amp phase. And what's going to happen is the dragon is going to enter a soft enrage. He's going to AoE everybody down. You're going to die, you know. So yeah, those are the two mechanics. Stay close to the person that you're chained with. Pick up the buff so that you can damage the dragon during damage amp phase. Also, one more thing worth pointing out. When you are finished hitting the dragon in the damage amp phase, you have to pick up the buff again. So you have to look for the yellow circles again. And everybody needs it again, right? So you have to pay attention to that. Be mindful of whether you have the buff or not. So let's get going. All right, we're going to pull. Notice how I'm staying with the Bard because I want to make sure that I'm chained to the Bard. This buff indicates that you're chained. So now that I'm chained, now I know that I can move a little more freely without getting too far away from the Bard. And now this is pretty much, we're just opening up on the boss. We're doing as much damage as we can. First thing you're going to notice is everybody's playing towards the right side of the boss. Why? Because that way, when the Pyroad spawns, we are on top of the Pyroad. And we can kill it pretty easily and get back to boss. You don't want to fight the boss on this side because that means that when the Pyroad spawns, you're going to have to run all the way from there to the Pyro. That's going to result in two things. Number one, your DPS is going to drop. And number two, the Pyro may kill the beacon, which will result in a wipe. Now, this circle right here, this is the buff that I'm talking about. This is, you want to stand on this circle and collect that buff. It's going to show up over here. And that's going to allow you to DPS the dragon when damage amp phase begins. I'm probably not going to pick this one up. This is probably going to be ranged. See them? They got that buff. Well, only one person gets it. In this case, it was the mage that got it. So now what I'm going to do is, because the next ad spawns on the left side of the dragon, I'm going to start to move on the left side of the dragon so that I can be on top of the ad while I'm also looking for my buff. See, I'm looking for the buff. I'm trying to get this one. I did not get it. That's unfortunate. The person that was with me got it. My positioning means that I'm right on top of the Pyro, and then I can use a quick step to get right back on boss. So the downtime is minimal, all because of the positioning on the fight. Now we are sharing the Death Meteor damage. And now the boss is going to knock us back. I have not gotten any of these buffs, even though I'm standing on top of them. But there's no reason to panic if you don't have one, because when this happens, you have all of the time in the world to get one, right? I'm going to get mine here. There it is. This is what the picture looks like. And now we're just going to wait for the boss. This right here, I'm trying to run to the boss to DPS. I see that the Bard is not following me, so I stop. I don't want to die, obviously. And now, all we're going to do here is kill the Pyro ad that's going to spawn on the boss's feet. Make sure we kill this before he kills the beacon. And now we are just preparing. We're holding on to our buttons until damage amp phase begins, because we're going to deal increased damage to the boss here. Now, I'm just pretty much waiting. And now the boss is down. and I'm popping everything. 196k Furious Attack, 203k Furious Attack, 203k Furious Attack. So that was a really good burst. The boss's HP is at 49%. That's obviously really good. Now, you want to make sure that you kill this prison and then you kill the pyroad as soon as it spawns, because now you're going to have to do lines. So we kill the ad, and now we have to do these lines, which is a mechanic that by now everybody knows. So the reason why it's important for that pyro ad to die before we do this is because it's going to be hard to kill it, right? Because there's going to be people off of the ad. So you want to kill the ad, you want to do lines, and then you want to get back to boss. Now you're going to try to dodge everything here while you are trying to look for the yellow buff again, this circle that allows you to DPS the boss. Now we're going to do Death Meteor, share damage, and now we're going to get knocked back. I'm going to try to get this buff over here. I wasn't able to get it. I got knocked back into the prison. That's why you positioned the way that I did. I'm going to deal a little burst here to the prison. I'm not going to kill it yet because I don't want the ad to spawn too early. Also, I also am looking for the buff. I got the buff there. Now I'm clear to go back to the ad. I'm going to try to kill it before it gets to the beacon. I got hit by that tornado because I'm just bad at the game. That happens. But now we're chilling. We've got the buff and we are ready to kill the boss. Now, here, this is a good situation because we know that we can kill the boss as long as we live this. So what's going to happen here is we're going to get targeted with these two red circles. I got targeted. This is good. So I can show you how I do this mechanic. I always try to drop the elemental as close as possible to the boss. Notice how the other player is stacking with me as much as he can without overlapping circles. Also, one very important thing to do here is you want to make sure that the immolation that's going out, healers, you want to make sure that the person that have the immolation, they are topped off, because this is a nasty overlap that can wipe the raid. Everybody needs to make sure that they are topped off. If you get low, make sure that you pot, or if you need, right? So that you don't die. Once they spawn, you want to kill these two elementals. And now, I also got the mechanic of the orb. So this is really good. This is a good example of how you do the mechanics. I got the purple orb. Now what I do, I stop DPSing the elemental and I'm focusing on clashing those two orbs. I got the purple one. Make sure that they clash. Once you do that, now I'm going back on the prison. Kill this prison and kill the pyro before the pyro kills the beacon. I'm furious attacking this pyro. I got a crit there, so this is going to die. And now all you have to do is kill the boss. The fight is officially over. All you have to do is nuke him. So we're going to wait for the boss to be knocked down. And we're going to do our burst. 388k Furious Attack. 98k Furious Attack. That was really bad. 216k Furious Attack. That was pretty good considering that it was not inside Inscribe Stone. The boss is at 1% HP. You better believe we are running back to boss as soon as possible. We are not staying back there. We're trying to kill the boss before any other mechanic happens. And down the boss goes. So that was really good pull from us. And damage breakdown, 5 minutes and 6 seconds. This is why I always do my dummy tests at either 5 or 6 minutes, because that's what fights are normally going to last in this game. As you can see, Furious Attack is doing all of our damage pretty much. 63% basically of our damage, 74.9k on average. Really good, but this is to be expected because the build is centered around Furious Attack. So yeah, very good. Let me explain the frenzied throw thing. All right, so when we pull the boss, right, these are my cooldown usages. On pull, everything, right? Then my Frenzy Throw, I'm going to use it on cooldown, right? There's the other use. Let me put it back a little bit. All right. As soon as it's up, Frenzy Throw on its own. And then here, I'm pressing Frenzy Throw again. And the reason why is because I want to get another Frenzy Throw window off. And I got the Furious Attack off, and it crit for 56.5k. So for me, even though I don't get the full Frenzy Throw window, I don't care. I got at least a couple of globals in, and I got a Furious Attack in. That's the reason why I took the Best Apprentice talent. Because if I didn't, I was not going to have Frenzy Throw up before he knocked us back. And that meant that if I Frenzy threw him here, I would not have it up in time for damage amp. But because I took the third point, now Frenzy Throw is up way in time, right? So I get to nuke the boss without having to worry about Frenzy Throw not being up. So Frenzy Throw is up, and boss is going to enter damage phase, and we're just ready. We don't even have to think about anything. Frenzy Throw, and then just burst the boss. And this was a really good burst window. This wasn't the best window ever, but this was really good because I've done a lot of damage during this burst window. It's more than that. But yeah, that's pretty much the fight. I will probably do some more of these because people have been asking for me to post fights on the channel, not just dummy tests. So here's a little challenge mode dragon. I'm probably going to do a shark challenge mode video. And then I'm going to try to defeat Doctor, even though it's hard. And I'm going to just try to get some more challenge mode fights out there for you. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching the video. And I'll see you guys around. GG's.